Do you ever feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions, with never enough time to accomplish everything on your to-do list? In The One Thing, Jay Papasan argues that success is about focusing on the one thing that matters most, rather than spreading ourselves too thin. In the introduction of the book, Papasan presents the success habit of asking, what's the one thing I can do today such that by doing it everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This simple question helps us identify the most important task we need to accomplish, leading to greater productivity and fulfillment. Papasan also emphasizes the importance of purposefully choosing what we focus on, rather than letting external forces dictate our priorities. He uses the analogy of a domino, where a small action can lead to a chain reaction of bigger accomplishments. By focusing on the one thing that will have the biggest impact, we can set off a domino effect that leads to greater success and satisfaction. The introduction also provides practical tips for implementing the one thing principle in our lives, such as creating a success list that prioritizes our most important tasks, and scheduling uninterrupted time to work on our most important task. Overall, the introduction sets the stage for the rest of the book, offering readers a framework for understanding the importance of focusing on the one thing that matters most. Papasan's message is clear: success is about doing less, not more. By simplifying our lives and focusing on the one thing that will have the biggest impact, we can achieve greater success and happiness. Chapter 1: The One Thing. In Chapter 1, author Jay Papasan makes the case for why focusing on one thing is so powerful. He starts by introducing the concept of a domino effect, where one action leads to another, and so on. He argues that by identifying our one thing and focusing on it, we can create a domino effect that leads to incredible results. Papasan emphasizes that our one thing should be our top priority and the most important thing we need to accomplish. He suggests that we should ask ourselves, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it everything else will be easier or unnecessary? To identify our one thing. The author also discusses the concept of multitasking and why it doesn't work. He cites research that shows that multitasking decreases productivity, increases stress, and reduces the quality of our work. Instead, he suggests that we should focus on one task at a time and give it our full attention. Papasan acknowledges that focusing on one thing can be difficult, especially when we have multiple responsibilities and competing demands on our time. He suggests that we should block out time in our schedule for our one thing and prioritize it above all else. He also encourages us to eliminate distractions and interruptions during this time so that we can focus on our task fully. In summary, Chapter 1 establishes the importance of focusing on one thing and highlights the benefits of doing so. The author introduces the concept of a domino effect and explains why multitasking is ineffective. He encourages readers to identify their one thing and prioritize it above all else, and offers practical tips for staying focused and eliminating distractions. Chapter 2: The Domino Effect. In Chapter 2, Jay Papasan expands on the idea of the domino effect that he introduced in the previous chapter. He explains that the key to the domino effect is to focus on our one thing and start with a small, manageable action that will set off a chain reaction of positive outcomes. Papasan suggests that we should start with a lead domino, which is a small action that has the potential to trigger a much larger outcome. He provides the example of Gary Keller, his co-author, who made a lead domino out of writing a book. By focusing on writing one page a day, Keller eventually wrote several best-selling books that transformed his career. The author also discusses the importance of momentum in the domino effect. Once we start taking action on our one thing, we build momentum that makes it easier to continue. This momentum creates a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction that motivates us to keep going. Papasan cautions that negative dominoes can also exist, where one bad decision or action leads to a chain reaction of negative outcomes. However, he suggests that by focusing on our one thing and taking positive action, we can prevent negative dominoes from taking over. The author encourages readers to identify their lead domino and take action on it every day. He suggests that we should track our progress and celebrate our wins along the way. By doing so, we can create a positive domino effect that leads to extraordinary results. In summary, Chapter 2 of The One Thing expands on the concept of the domino effect and emphasizes the importance of starting small and building momentum. The author encourages readers to identify their lead domino and take daily action on it, and provides practical advice for avoiding negative dominoes. By doing so, we can create a positive chain reaction of outcomes that leads to success in our lives. Chapter 3: Success Leaves Clues. In Chapter 3, Jay Papasan emphasizes the importance of modeling success. He argues that success leaves clues and that we can learn a lot from successful people by studying their habits and behaviors. Papasan suggests that we should find a mentor or role model who has achieved what we want to achieve and learn from them. He recommends that we study their habits, routines, and thought patterns and emulate them in our own lives. By doing so, we can save time and effort by avoiding mistakes and learning from the successes of others. The author also discusses the idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, which means building on the work of those who came before us. He suggests that we should look to history and the accomplishments of those who have made significant contributions to our field or industry, and learn from their successes and failures. Papasan cautions that while it's important to model success, we should also be careful not to compare ourselves to others. He suggests that we should focus on our own journey and progress, and not get caught up in comparing ourselves to those who are further ahead or have achieved more. The author encourages readers to seek out opportunities to learn from successful people and to be open to feedback and coaching. He suggests that we should be willing to invest time, energy, and resources into our own growth and development, and that doing so will pay dividends in the long run. In summary, Chapter 3 highlights the importance of modeling success and learning from the habits and behaviors of successful people. The author encourages readers to seek out mentors and role models and to study their habits and routines. He also emphasizes the importance of standing on the shoulders of giants and learning from the successes and failures of those who came before us. By doing so, we can accelerate our own progress and achieve our goals more efficiently. Chapter 4, Part 1, The Lies, They Mislead and Derail Us. In Chapter 4, J. Papasan introduces Part 1 of the book, titled The Lies. He argues that there are several lies that people believe about productivity and success, and that these lies can mislead and derail us from achieving our goals. The first lie that Papasan addresses is the idea that everything matters equally. He suggests that this is not true, and that some tasks and activities are more important than others. He encourages readers to identify their one thing and prioritize it above all else, rather than trying to do everything at once. The second lie is that multitasking is effective. Papasan argues that multitasking is a myth and that trying to do multiple things at once actually reduces productivity and increases stress. Instead, he suggests that we should focus on one task at a time and give it our full attention. The third lie is that discipline is all we need. Papasan suggests that discipline is important, but that it's not enough on its own. He argues that we also need to cultivate habits and routines that support our goals and make it easier to take action on our one thing. The fourth lie is that willpower is always on will call. Papasan suggests that willpower is a limited resource and that it's important to conserve it for the most important tasks. He recommends that we schedule our most important tasks for when our willpower is highest, and that we eliminate distractions and interruptions that can drain our willpower. The fifth and final lie is that we need a balanced life. Papasan argues that balance is a myth and that trying to achieve it can actually be detrimental to our productivity and success. Instead, he suggests that we should focus on our priorities and make deliberate choices about where we spend our time and energy. In summary, Chapter 4 introduces Part 1 of the book, which is focused on debunking the lies that can mislead and derail us from achieving our goals. The author addresses 5 common lies, including the idea that everything matters equally, multitasking is effective, and we need a balanced life. By recognizing and overcoming these lies, we can focus on our one thing and achieve extraordinary results. Before we continue, we would like to inform you that we release these summaries in audio format on Spotify before we release them on YouTube in video format, with subtitles. We have also created a goldmine of information which you can get exclusive access to by supporting us on Patreon. You get in-depth summaries plus scripts, usually twice the length of our YouTube content, a list of the top 20 key takeaways and exercises, summary requests, and more. Thank you for the support and don't forget to hit the like button. Chapter 5, Part 2, The Truth, The Simple Path to Productivity. In Chapter 5, J. Papasan introduces Part 2 of the book, titled The Truth. He argues that by embracing the truth about productivity and success, we can simplify our lives and achieve more with less effort. The first truth that Papasan addresses is that the one thing is the best approach to productivity. He suggests that by focusing on our one thing and prioritizing it above all else, we can achieve extraordinary results and simplify our lives. The second truth is that success is built sequentially, not simultaneously. Papasan argues that we need to focus on one thing at a time and build momentum by achieving small successes along the way. He suggests that by breaking down our goals into smaller, more manageable steps, we can make progress and build confidence. The third truth is that we should follow the domino principle, which means identifying our lead domino and focusing on the small actions that will trigger a chain reaction of positive outcomes. Papasan suggests that by identifying our lead domino and taking daily action on it, we can build momentum and achieve our goals more efficiently. The fourth truth is that we should use our willpower wisely. Papasan suggests that we should schedule our most important tasks for when our willpower is highest, and that we should eliminate distractions and interruptions that can drain our willpower. He also recommends that we cultivate habits and routines that support our goals and make it easier to take action. The fifth and final truth is that we should balance our energy, not our time. Papasan argues that trying to balance our time is a myth, and that we should focus on balancing our energy instead. He suggests that we should identify the times of day when we have the most energy and focus on our most important tasks during those times. In summary, Chapter 5 introduces Part 2 of the book, which is focused on embracing the truth about productivity and success. The author addresses 5 key truths, including the idea that the one thing is the best approach to productivity, success is built sequentially, and we should use our willpower wisely. By embracing these truths, we can simplify our lives, achieve more with less effort, and build momentum towards our goals. Chapter 6, Part 3, Extraordinary Results, Unlocking the Possibilities Within You. In Chapter 6, J. Papasan introduces Part 3 of the book, titled Extraordinary Results. He argues that by applying the principles of the one thing to our lives, we can unlock the possibilities within us and achieve extraordinary results. Papasan suggests that to achieve extraordinary results, we need to embrace the power of purpose. He suggests that by identifying our purpose and aligning our goals with it, we can find greater fulfillment and motivation in our work. The author also emphasizes the importance of taking action and making progress towards our goals. He suggests that we need to break down our goals into smaller, more manageable steps, and take daily action on our one thing to build momentum and achieve our goals. Papasan also discusses the role of accountability in achieving extraordinary results. He suggests that we should find an accountability partner or coach who can help us stay on track and make progress towards our goals. Finally, the author addresses the importance of perseverance and grit in achieving extraordinary results. He suggests that we need to embrace failure as a learning opportunity and keep pushing forward, even when we face obstacles or setbacks. In summary, Chapter 6 introduces Part 3 of the book, which is focused on unlocking the possibilities within us and achieving extraordinary results. The author emphasizes the importance of purpose, action, accountability, perseverance, and grit in achieving our goals. By applying these principles to our lives and focusing on our one thing, we can achieve extraordinary results and fulfill our potential. Conclusion: The One Thing. In the conclusion of The One Thing, J. Papasan reiterates the importance of focusing on our one thing to achieve extraordinary results in our lives. He suggests that by prioritizing our most important work and eliminating distractions, we can simplify our lives and achieve more with less effort. The author emphasizes that the journey to success is a marathon, not a sprint, and that we need to focus on progress, not perfection. He suggests that we need to embrace failure as a learning opportunity and keep pushing forward towards our goals. Papasan also addresses the importance of balance in our lives, suggesting that we need to prioritize our health, relationships, and personal growth alongside our work goals. He suggests that by taking care of ourselves and our relationships, we can find greater fulfillment and success in our work. Finally, the author encourages readers to take action on the principles of the one thing and make it a habit to focus on their one thing every day. He suggests that by taking consistent action towards our goals, we can achieve extraordinary results and fulfill our potential. In summary, the conclusion of The One Thing reiterates the importance of focusing on our most important work, embracing failure, finding balance in our lives, and taking consistent action towards our goals. By embracing these principles and making them a habit, we can achieve extraordinary results and live a fulfilling and successful life.